Om Sadhana Bhavatu Sahanam Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Hari Om everyone. Happy to see you all again. Last satsang we had was on Hanuman Chalisa. So this is flavor of Vedanta. That was Bhakti Rasa. This is Jnana Rasa. The purpose of human life is to discover happiness. The pursuit we all have in our human life is also to discover happiness. And different school of thoughts give different path. One such school of thought is Advaita Vedanta. Every school of thought will have their own sadhana, their own definition of bondage and liberation, and their own path, how to lead us towards that bliss. The path that we follow in Chinmaya Mission is that of Advaita Vedanta. Now, in this path of Advaita Vedanta, to lead us to the supreme-most purpose of human birth, which is to discover that unconditional bliss. Our great teachers, they say, great rishis, mahatmas, they say a fit student is needed. Fit student means one who will be able to walk this path. Anybody is welcome to walk, but who will reach the goal? The one who is fit, one who has the qualification. For example, everybody is welcome to join the army, but who will survive the army? One who has a physical fitness. And to take that person in also, they will have certain qualifications. If he is not having those basic qualifications, either he has to make up for it and come back. They don't give an option of entering and then starting. On the spiritual path, they are very compassionate. They say, if you don't have qualification also, you come. We'll work on it later. But the point is, one who has qualifications, that person will reach the goal. That is just one example. Even if you take politics, anybody can contest an election. But who will reach the goal? One who has the qualities to become a good politician. He should be able to bear criticism, should be able to connect with people, should have his popularity. Now all this is qualification to become a politician. Similarly, on the spiritual path also, our scriptures, they say, we need qualifications to walk on this path. And the name they have coined for it is Sadhana Chatushtaya. Sadhana means qualifications. Chatushtaya means fourfold. Fourfold qualifications. What would happen in olden days? The guru would be living in an ashram. And the student has to approach the guru. Not for few days, few months, he has to stay there for minimum 12 years. When the new disciple goes, he has to stay there at his guru's ashram for 12 years. And guru will not start teaching until he is convinced that the student has these qualifications. So the first few years of his stay in the ashram, Gurukula, would only be to increase his qualifications. He would be under the watchful eyes of the Guru. How he is speaking, how he is interacting with other students, how does he take instructions, how does he implement the instructions which are given to him. Guru would keep an eye. And if any improvement is needed, Guru would correct, so that when the teacher is ready to give knowledge, student is ready to receive it. The best milk put in a container which has lime is of no use. So this very good quality milk is Upanishadic knowledge. And the clean container is our mind, which has Sadhana Chatushtaya. That mind can hold this knowledge. Because in Advaita Vedanta, it is said, liberation is through knowledge. When we gain knowledge about who we truly are, and we understand what we are not, that understanding brings liberation. That knowledge brings liberation. But our topic today is going to be this Sadhana Chatushtaya. So in modern day, how are we supposed to look at this Sadhana Chatushtaya? Because we don't go to Gurukula, stay for 12 years. Wherever we might be serving, whatever seva we might be offering, in any place, either in some spiritual organization, or at our home, or in some voluntary place, this seeker should constantly keep asking, are my qualifications growing? Is my Sadhana Chatushtaya increasing? If that is happening, then there is success in the work that we are doing. Now, very simple translation of what these fourfold qualifications are. Okay, the first one is Viveka. Viveka, ability to discern. Ability to discern between real and unreal. That is called as Viveka. We will see each one in detail. First, please note down what are the names of it. Many of you might already know it. Revision of what you know. First one is Viveka. Second is Vairagya. Vairagya means dispassion. Dispassion. This is just one word translation. Viveka means discernment. Vairagya means dispassion. Third one is Shamadhi Shat Sampatti. Shamadhi Shat Sampatti. In simple words, it means to discipline the mind. Art of disciplining the mind is Shamadhi Shat Sampatti. And the last one is Mumukshutvam. You can keep answering. I'll keep asking, you can keep answering. Mumukshutvam is desire for liberation. These are the fourfold qualifications. Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadhi Shat Sampatti, Mumukshutvam. Discernment, dispassion, disciplining the mind, and desire for liberation. That is called as Sadhana Chatushtaya. Now there are some beautiful points to note before we dive into details of it. These four, Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadhi Shat Sampatti and Mumukshutvam, are all connected to each other. If first one is strong, second one is good. Meaning, one leads to strengthening the other. If person's viveka is strong, he'll know what I should get detached from. Dispassion is strong. If vairagya, dispassion is strong, his mind is disciplined. Shamadhi Shat Sampatti is very well there in that person. Imagine somebody who has clarity in thinking, discernment, dispassion is there, mind is disciplined. That mind will have intense desire for liberation. These are the four qualities, but they are interdependent. That is why Shankaracharya ji says, out of these four qualities, the most important one is Vairagya and Mumukshutva. Somebody might say, no, then Viveka is not important. Disciplining mind is not important. He says, no, just look at what we just discussed. If Mumukshutvam is there, what does it imply? Mind is disciplined. Then only Mumukshutvam can come. And if Vairagya is there, it implies Viveka is already there. So there is a cause-effect relation between each of these qualities. Viveka leads to Vairagya. Vairagya leads to disciplining the mind. Disciplining the mind leads to desire for liberation. Pay close attention to the second pair between Vairagya and disciplining the mind. Nowadays we talk a lot about controlling the mind, having good mental health. This Sadhana Chatushtaya tells us, if we want disciplined mind, what do we need? Healthy detachment from this world. Vairagya leads to Shamadhi Shat Sampatti. Okay. Your phones, please keep it on silent. That is also one Shamadhi Shat Sampatti. See, we all study Vedanta. Many a times people feel, I don't see the result of Vedanta. Because in Vedanta they say, one who attains this knowledge becomes Jivan Mukta, liberated while living. Liberated while living means what? He rejoices. No situation becomes a bondage for him. Who will have this kind of Jivan Mukti? One who has Sadhana Chatushtaya. See, knowledge many people gain. But knowledge minus Sadhana Chatushtaya will not give us the final result. See the importance of Sadhana Chatushtaya. It is going to decide Jivan Mukti of a person. Otherwise, what will happen, He will become an unhappy learned scholar. Unhappy scholar of Vedanta is the final outcome. So Jivan Mukti depends upon this Sadhana Chatushtaya. Now somebody might say, oh, my Sadhana Chatushtaya, just looking at the definition, I feel I still have a long way to go. Can I wait? First 25 years, 50 years of my life, I will spend on increasing Sadhana Chatushtaya. Then when I get it 100%, I will start studying Vedanta. So does it come in sequence? First do Sadhana Chatushtaya, then start studying Vedanta? They say no. Traditionally it might have. But in the life that we live, coming to Vedanta itself is God's grace. If we delay it further under any name, that is not what our scriptures want. They say you do it parallelly, but you will notice you will get drawn towards something more. Either you will get drawn towards Sadhana Chatushtaya related topic, or you will get drawn towards the Vedanta topic, nature of Brahman. So how do we know our Sadhana Chatushtaya is increasing? When desire for liberation increases, that is a sign of Sadhana Chatushtaya ripening. Mind naturally wants to go towards Vedanta. Not for intellectual study, but to understand who I truly am. That is the blessing of this Sadhana Chatushtaya. So don't wait, that's what they are telling. Don't wait, start whenever we feel like. हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं? जब जागे तभी सवेरा. It's good to wake up at Brahma Muhurtam. But what if somebody wakes up little later? जब भी जागे तभी सवेरा. Start doing auspicious things at that time. Don't wait further. Now somebody might also say, how is this Sadhana Chatushtaya related to my everyday life? When we see the details, we will appreciate one thing. Person who is qualified for spiritual life, can gracefully handle everyday life. Not the other way around. Person who can handle day-to-day life need not necessarily be qualified for spiritual life. But if person is truly qualified for spiritual life, he can gracefully handle everyday life. That is this blessing of Sadhana Chatushtaya. Okay. Really speaking, this Sadhana Chatushtaya, all of us have. We might not have it in the extent that is needed. So what do we have to do? Jo hai so hai. Increase it more and invest it towards spiritual pursuit. I'll give you one example. Children, adults also have this question. How to have focus of mind? Do you think we don't have focus of mind at all? When the child watches cricket or is watching some movie, mind is focused. So can you say that you don't have this ability to focus completely? No, he has the ability. What does he have to do? Invest it in the right field. When he sits down to study, mind starts wandering. So in the right field, we have to invest it and keep increasing it. Okay, so with this much introduction, let us look at the first Sadhana Chatushtaya. It is called, what was the first one? Viveka. Viveka. These names, you keep it handy, because finally what should happen, we should be able to analyze our response to this world and say, which Sadhana Chatushtaya I could have applied more. When we introspect our day and look at how we responded to this world, these terms should remind us, oh, here I could have used more Viveka. In this particular interaction, I could have practiced more Vairagya. So those words are helpful. Okay, the first one is Viveka. Viveka means ability to separate two things which have gotten mixed up. Ability to finally separate two things which have become one. I'll share a few examples, then we'll go to the main point. What is this? How many things do you see here? How many? One. Watch. How many of you also see light? We are able to see this watch because of light. Watch is the object. Watch plus light is making me experience. If you turn off the light and I ask you, what is this? You will not know what it is. So light and this object have as though gotten mixed up. Now if I ask you this question again, what do you see? What will you say now?
Light.
Not only light. Watch in light. See, there are two things which have gotten mixed up. Now you are expert in doing viveka of light and object. Let's come a little bit more to day-to-day example. This is a little philosophical example. Light and object. Have you all had Golgappa? Yes. In that water, some people told me they also had hing. To get that tanginess, they had hing. Now, if you are an expert in food and they ask you, what all things are there in this water? You will identify. There is pudina, there are spices, there is kala namak, imli, and there is hing. Because you know the art of the taste, discerning the taste of that hing, all of you know, right? Asafoetida. That is viveka. The ability to discern two. Food examples are easier to appreciate. They told me in chole they put tea bag, chai patti. If you ask an ordinary person what all things are there, he will only see chole there. But if you are a good cook, you can discern what all things are there. You can say there is tea leaf, there are this many spices. That ability to discern two which have gotten mixed up, that is called as viveka. These are only examples. This is not Sadhana Chatushtaya viveka. We are only appreciating what is this ability. All of you are with me with the example? Ready to come to the main point? Let us take the same object. When we see this object, there is a name of this object. Watch. That is the name. Then there is a form of this object. It is round. It has a name, it has a form. Then there is one more aspect. This watch exists. If this was a non-existent entity, we couldn't even talk about it. Okay? Name, form, and existence. Just like in the case of object and light, they got mixed up. All the ingredients in that pani puri water got mixed up. Here also, name and form and existence has gotten mixed up. Ability to separate name and form from existence is called viveka. That existence doesn't belong to watch. Existence belongs to Brahman. The ability to separate Brahman from the world is called viveka. See, we are not separating world from world. In the previous examples of Golgappa water, chole and chai patti, both were objects of this world. Even the object and light, both are bhautika vastu. What viveka are we talking about? Between Brahman, which is real, and all names and forms, which is unreal. Brahman, which is permanent, and names and forms which are impermanent. That ability is called Viveka. This was just with respect to Sat. Existence, this is the Viveka. Let us say there is a person. He has a name and he has a height, weight, that is his form. Is that it, or is there something more? What is the more part?
Consciousness.
He exists. He is conscious. He is conscious. He can speak, he can talk. Now the ability to separate consciousness from his name and form, that ability is called Viveka. Consciousness is attribute, consciousness is nature of Brahman. Name and form belongs to matter. That ability to discern is called as Viveka. So this is Chit Viveka. First one was Sat Viveka. Third one is very wonderful. Ananda Viveka. This is where we mostly get it wrong. We are running around in samsara because this Viveka is covered by ignorance. What is the third Viveka? Ananda Viveka. Any object we experience, there is name of that object and there is form of that object. And let's say you like that object. So we say, that object made me happy. Let us accept that statement. Time being. Where did we experience happiness? Did we experience it outside in the object or in the mind? In the mind. Now that experience that happiness which was experienced in the mind, where did it come from? From Brahman. Brahman, which is Ananda Swarupa, that happiness got reflected in this mind. What did the object do? It only quietened the mind. Before that object was experienced, mind was agitated, wanting to experience that object. When the object was attained, that desire went away. Once desire went away, happiness of Brahman got reflected in the mind. Therefore, our rishis said, why entertain more and more desires? Go out and get more things and then try to be happy. While you can also be happy by minimizing desires and quietening the mind. Best example is deep sleep. When we are in deep sleep, no objects, yet happiness is there. That happiness, the source of that happiness is Brahman. So who is a Viveki of Ananda? He knows that any happiness which is there in this world is nature of Brahman. Anything which is alive in this world is a reflection of that same consciousness. And the most important one, anything which is existing in this world borrows its existence from that same Brahman. One who is able to see this is Viveki. Vidyaranya Swamiji mentions this in Drigdrishya Viveka. Asti bhati priyam rupam nama chetyamsha panchakam. Adyatrayam brahma rupam jagad rupam tatodvayam. Asti bhati and priya, they belong to Brahman. Nama and Rupa belongs to Jagat. Now this somebody might understand, but to apply that Viveka is where the sadhana happens. So any object we see, we should know there is name and form and there is existence. Any jiva we see, there is name and form and consciousness. Any happiness we experience, name and form of that thought, of that object, and there is Ananda Swarupa Brahma. That is called as Viveka. What has gotten mixed up here? Name and form and Asti Bhati Priyam. Existence, consciousness, bliss. Okay. In Hindi, if you want to say, you can say विवेक दृष्टि वो है जो हमें अनेक से एक की ओर ले जाती है. विवेक दृष्टि takes us viveka, takes us from aneka to eka. These three are not three different things. Existence, consciousness, bliss are not three separate things. It is referring to that one truth, which is Brahman. Everybody with me so far? What is this Viveka? Are you all getting a taste of Vedanta? What we are trying to seek in Vedanta? Now somebody might say, I was very enthusiastic to study Vedanta. पहला ही ओवर क्रिकेट में होता है ना, बॉल स्विंग होता है बहुत. पहला ही ओवर इतना was difficult. I don't want to continue anymore. Viveka, imagine if somebody has this kind of Viveka, he knows what is real, what is unreal. What is the need to go further? So what they are saying here is, we might not be perfect, but we should have the ability to appreciate what is being told. इसको कहते हैं विवेक सामर्थ्य. What is being told, we are able to appreciate. We can think in these lines. That is what is asked. When can our viveka be effective? Viveka is effective when the object towards which we want to do viveka, we don't have too much likes and dislikes. If I am seeing something and I like that object, Nama Rupa I am fascinated by. Vedanta might tell us 100 times, there is existence also, there is consciousness also, there is bliss also. But Nama Rupa will hijack our intellect. So when they say reduce likes and dislikes, what is the main point there? So that we can see the object as it is. If somebody loves Rasagulla, now if you love it so much, very difficult to say existence there. Before you know existence, it will become non-existent. That is this object when they tell us, fewer the likes and dislikes, more sharper is our viveka. That is the beauty of viveka. That is why devotion in a way is very helpful. Because how does a devotee see this world? Not as objects. He sees this world as God's form. Once that vision comes, to see the world as existence is a very small step. The biggest step is strong likes and dislikes to neutralizing those likes and dislikes. Suddenly we should not jump at negating this world. So Mahatma Ji would say, we should learn to elevate our vision of this world before we negate it. Before you negate, elevate. How do we elevate? Reduce likes and dislikes. Then that object we can go deeper into. Goswami Tulsidas Ji has composed Vinay Patrika. There he composes one song on this Viveka. But see, Goswami Ji writes in devotional language. So instead of saying Brahman, he will say Rama. He says to have devotion to Rama is very difficult. People say it's very easy, but those who have crossed this ocean, they only know how difficult it is. And he gives examples that Viveka is not easy. You have to learn the art. He says if you mix sand and sugar, you can't put forth effort to separate it. But if you put an ant there, it will happily eat the sugar, leave the sand behind. Why? Because he says the ant knows the art. A huge elephant drowns in a small stream, whereas a small fish can swim happily there. He says, why? Because the fish knows the art. Similarly, he says, this Viveka, don't struggle to separate. Rather, learn the art of separating. That is Viveka. Everybody with me? First topic we covered. Huh? Now, if Viveka is strong, it will lead us to the second Sadhana Chatushtaya, which is Vairagya. All of you are study group members, right? Some study group you all attend, or you have heard these terms before. Don't worry, even if you have not, it's okay. What is Vairagya? Vairagya is the ability to let go of that which is impermanent. Ability to let go of that which has been understood as unreal and impermanent. Based on what? Based on Viveka. If Viveka is done properly, natural expression of that will be in the form of Vairagya. Otherwise, what happens is, mind wants to cling on. Mind wants to hold on. Hold on to what? Hold on to unreal. It might have done very great Viveka, but finally what it is holding on to is unreal only. That is not what we want. So Vairagya is ability to let go of what is unreal. In the movie On a Quest, there is one nice portion where Taponji Maharaj is talking to Puja Gurudev. He says, do you see the beautiful Himalayas in front? Gurudev says, yes. Are you enjoying it? He says, yes. He says, you are enjoying it because you are not possessing it. The moment mind clings on to something, we cannot even enjoy that thing. That ability to not cling on to things mentally is called as Vairagya. Now there is, all of you can hear me? Okay. Now there is another aspect, to this Vairagya, where it is said, mind also does a lot of fanciful thinking. And this fanciful thinking is about experiences that we have experienced before, or experiences which others tell us. Both are there. If, let us say, we saw something very nice somewhere where we had gone, we went to a museum or we went to somebody's home, and you saw one beautiful painting, abstract painting was there. And if you have interest for that, what will the mind say when you come back? Maybe I also should get one. Before seeing that thing, this thought was also not there. But just by experiencing something, mind starts telling us, maybe you should have it. So this is an example of fanciful thinking, Why is it called fanciful? Because mind says that will give you joy. Mind also says, unless you have that thing, you cannot be happy. That is why the word fanciful is added. Either those things which we have experienced, or we have not experienced, somebody else has experienced, they come and tell us. You know, I went for that vacation, it was so nice. You know, they didn't even tell us we should go, they only described it. What do we start feeling? Maybe we should also go. Absence of that is called Vairagya. Don't get me wrong, Vedanta is not telling us don't have abstract painting, don't go to vacation. All it tells us is don't do these things expecting joy. That is a recipe for sorrow. Joy is our nature. We don't have to seek it outside. That is also part of this Vairagya. I am not quoting the verses, but I have taken all this from different texts, Viveka Chudamani, different Upanishads. And many a times we feel Vairagya is only from sense objects. So we should look within. This fanciful thinking, superimposition of joy, also can happen in some power, some powerful position, or in some kind of lifestyle. And nowadays, this social media doesn't help us in practicing Vairagya. Because it portrays such an image, person might feel everybody else is happy in this world except me. Absence of that thinking is Vairagya. Where we appreciate that we should not define our happiness based on some quick impressions that either we have had or which others are telling us. Shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. What we have heard and what we are yet to hear. Towards both we should be well balanced. Vairagya also means maturity. At some stage in life, we should get this feeling, I have been there, done that. Towards sense objects or towards any experience. He says, now my goal is Bhagavad Prapti. My goal is liberation, not getting back into this wheel of samsara. See, when we go to some mela, they have this huge merry-go-round wheel. Children jump on it, they sit. What should adults do, hopefully? Been there, done that. Not having the same excitement to sit on that wheel. At the same time, you don't look down upon the children. Correct? Why? Because that person has grown out of it. Child wants to do it, they can do it. Similarly, in spiritual life also, those who want sense object, one should not start feeling, see how I have grown above sense objects. All of them are still on their journey. That is another bondage. Vairagya means maturity, where our goals have shifted, priorities have shifted. That is the beauty of Vairagya. In Hindi, if you want to say, विषयों के प्रति उदासीनता का नाम वैराग्य है. विषयों के प्रति उदासीनता. Udasinta means you are sitting above. Ut asin. That object is not your priority anymore. Now, a few things to note about Vairagya. We saw what is Vairagya, right? Udasinata towards Vishaya, not having fanciful thinking, and not clinging on to what is unreal. Hatred towards objects is not vairagya. Any dvesha towards vishaya, that is not spiritual quality. That is one thing we have to note. Because vairagya ke naam par we should not become bitter. Especially when we do sadhana while staying in family. Our sadhana choices should not become an inconvenience for people around us. Vairagya is maturity. What is the extent of this vairagya? They say, starting from this human body to the comforts that this human body can experience, to the greatest accomplishments in this world, all the way to higher worlds, including the position of Brahmaji. One who says, I am not craving for it. That lack of craving is vairagya. Swami Akhandanand Maharaj, he mentions one point for this vairagya. He says there is one lower vairagya and higher vairagya. Maharaj is very dear to this place, and so we should remember his teaching also. He said, what is lower vairagya? Lower vairagya is vairagya towards vishayas. What is higher vairagya? He says vairagya towards mind and ego. Vairagya towards mind and ego, that is higher vairagya. What does this sadhaka want to let go now? Identification with mind, identification with ego. Which category does mind and ego fall under? Brahman category or everything else category? Everything else. Atma category or Anatma category? Anatma category. And what is his pursuit? Hold on to Atma or abide in Atma? Hold on to Anatma or abide in Atma? Abide in Atma. So vairagya started from food, vairagya started from other objects, vairagya started from people, came up to this body, and finally it was his own mind and ego. But just like we cannot forcefully keep objects away, we have to think and grow out of them. We cannot forcefully keep this mind away. We have to do our vichara and transcend this mind. That is little bit about vairagya. Our Puja Guruji, Swami Tejamanand would say, don't speak too much on vairagya, because people will have vairagya towards you. Especially if it's a newer group. But it's a beautiful, liberating mindset to have. Bhartariji says, Vairagyam eva abhayam. If there is one person who is fearless in this world, that is a person who has vairagya, who doesn't depend upon objects, people, experiences. Okay, so this is the second quality, vairagya. Third one is Shamadhi Shat Sampatti. 6 factors, 6 qualities are packed in one. Now you might say, the Rishi, what did he want us to do? Did he want to pack more things so that it looks small, only 4 attributes, but when you start seeing it becomes 9? That is not the point. Shamadhi Shat Sampatti is all tied back to managing the mind. When we interact with the world, what qualifications we should have so that we can manage our mind better while interacting with this world? That's why it's called sampatti. Sampatti means wealth. Bhautika sampatti, if you give, you will get some object. Bhautika sampatti means worldly wealth. But if you want moksha, what is the sampatti we need? Shamadhi Shat Sampatti. Mind should be well disciplined. If somebody has Shamadhi Shat Sampatti, does he have Vairagya or not?
Yes.
He should have Vairagya. He will have Vairagya. If he has true Vairagya, does he have Viveka or not? True Vairagya is born from Viveka, not from some immediate experience. There are different types of Vairagya also. We will not go into that. Okay, so Shamadhi Shat Sampatti is having this ability to discipline the mind. The first one is called Shamaha. Shamaha. What is this Shama? Deep inside each one of us, we have a set of latent impressions. Latent impression is called Vasana. Some we have gathered in this life, some we have gathered in past life. And the Vasana will decide what kind of thought is going to rise. Really speaking, we don't have control. That latent Vasana decides. It's the blueprint of our mind. Good Vasanas, good thoughts. Shubha Vasanas, Shubha Vritti. Ashubha Vasana, Ashubha Vritti. Erroneous Vasana, erroneous thought. Now in this whole equation, do we have any control or not? He said you have the control of Shama. Even if some erroneous thought has risen, not following that thought, not endorsing that thought, not flowing away with that thought, and coming back to our main goal, which is the self. That ability is called as Shama. So in Tattva Bodha and all, it's called Mano Nigraha. But Nigraha means to control. But why do I need to control it? Because Vasanas will just keep pushing us. It will just keep throwing new thoughts. And one should not become helpless in front of these thoughts. This is one metaphor is given of a bi-directional river. Sometimes it flows in this direction, sometimes it flows in that direction. Or at the same time, there are two streams, one going upwards, one going downwards. And if a person has to go upwards, he says you will have to swim against the current. So one side of the stream is moksha, Brahman. Another side of the stream is all pleasurable things. So if mind has to go towards Brahman, turn towards Brahman, we need Shamaha. We need Shamaha, where this mind is guided towards the higher. Paurushena prayatnena. Lot of effort is needed to pull the mind back from pleasurable and to put it into that which is the truth. That is called Shama. Another traditional example is given of an elephant. How does the elephant move the trunk? Does it keep straight and go straight, or it just sways left and right? The trunk represents our mind. And the both sides, shopkeepers, a banana is there, something else, some other fruit is there. Those are sense objects. Mind will never go straight. It will keep bouncing between sense objects. The Mahot who is sitting on top has a gourd, Ankush. He can control the elephant with a tiny little thing. That Ankush is Shama. So that is the first one. Second quality in that Shamadhi Shat Sampatti is Damaha. Now, Shama is at mind level, Damaha is more at sense organ level. So, sense organ also do two parts, two roles. One role of sense organ is to receive something, perceive the world. For example, eyes, they are only reporting us names and forms. Hand, on the other hand, is organ of action. It will do something. Speech is an organ of action. Eyes are organ of perception. Dhamma applies at both levels. Dhamma at perception level is what? Having lot of checks on what we are seeing, what we are hearing. We chant in our Shanti mantra, right? Bhadram karne vishrunuyama devaha Bhadram pashyemakshabhiryajatra. That is Dhamma at ear level. May we hear good things, not gossip, not hear all kind of negative things about this world, about some person. Same with eyes, may we see good things. Dhamma also applies at organ of action level. Because Dhamma is mainly at sense organ level, right? Let's say mind is very angry. What is Dhamma at sense organ level? This person says, no matter what is the anger, I will not use certain language. For whatever reason, he might say, my upbringing is like this. I belong to such and such family. Our value system is like this. I am disciple of such and such great master. So I will not say certain things, not do certain things. Legs will not take us to certain places. That is called Dhamma at sense organ level. Both are complementary. If Shama is good, Dhamma is easier. If Dhamma is well practiced, Shama is easier. Okay, Shama Dhamma. Third one is Uparama. Uparama is very, very important quality. What is avoidable needs to be avoided. Uparama means that what I am supposed to do, one should have clarity about it, and everything else what one need not do, he says, I will not do it. See, there are certain things which are forbidden for us. Nishiddha karma. So Nishiddha karma definitely we should not do. Then there are things which are enjoined onto us. Nitya karma. That we should definitely do. The grey area is in between part, Kamya karma. Kamya karma is not forbidden, but it is not enjoined also. So this person says, let me reduce Kamya karma. Eliminate Nishiddha karma, reduce Kamya karma, do Nitya karma. What is the benefit of Uparati, Uparama? It saves time. Not only in spiritual life, even if a student is going to study, and other than studying, he is engaged in all other activities. He goes to do some music in his university, goes to play sports. All good things only is doing. Only thing is not doing is studying. He says, what you need is Uparati. Being clear about why did I come here for. If my main goal is to study, from everything else, I should have moderation. Towards everything else, I should have moderation. That is called as Uparati. How many are done? Shama, Dhamma, Uparati, Uparama. Next one is titiksha. Titiksha is also very nice quality. Being able to adjust, being able to forbear. That is called as titiksha. They have a famous quote, right? What cannot be cured should be endured. Puja Guruji says, what cannot be cured should be enjoyed. What else can you do? कुछ कर भी नहीं सकते उसका. But somebody might endure. But always complaining. The first person he meets, he shares all his endurance with him. And he is worried also, what will happen to me with this? So Shankaracharya says, true titiksha is that where we happily endure and we don't complain about it, nor we get worried about it. That is called as titiksha. Somebody's phone is ringing. All of you have titiksha, wait for some time. Okay. I don't know why today Swami Akhandanandji's lot of points are coming. Maharajji says, the one who practices titiksha, the inner potential of that person gets awakened. Whatever inner potential is there, which is dormant, one who can forbear, that inner power gets awakened. If he is always complaining about inconvenience, then his potential also remains dormant. That is this ability. And he reaches a stage where nothing bothers him. Swami Vivekananda, he says, there was a mosquito which sat on the horns of a bull. And after it sat, it realized, I must have caused inconvenience to the bull. So it went and apologized to the bull. I am very sorry, I sat on your horns for this long, I didn't realize. The bull said, I didn't even know you were there. You can come with your family. He says that is the quality of titiksha. One who endures slowly starts feeling there is nothing that I cannot endure. That is this titiksha. Next, Sadhana Chatushtaya is Shraddha. Titiksha ke baad Shraddha. Shraddha means faith. Whatever our Guru is telling us and whatever Shastra is telling us, it has to be true. I might not understand it, but it is not incorrect. Whenever Guru's blessing is there, God's blessing is there, these topics will become clear to me. But I accept it as a matter of fact. I tell you, our spiritual journey can go leaps and bounds if we have the Shraddha fully blossomed. We will come to see that which we believed in. Beauty of Shraddha is that I don't know everything, but I believe in certain things. Eventually we will come to know what we believed. If that Shraddha was lacking, our journey would have stopped right there. And if Shraddha is there, whatever is being said will make an impact. Isn't it true even for worldly things? If you know somebody who lives a very disciplined life, has very good health, And that person tells you, if you do intermittent fasting, it is good. Huh? You will immediately follow. Why? Because you have Shraddha. Why do you have Shraddha? Because that person has been consistent. If he keeps changing his diet every other day, keeps changing his method of healthy living every other day, and he tells you one method, you will say maybe this is also one of those winds. See, if we have Shraddha, the words have impact. So much so that you will also start doing it. Imagine if we have such kind of Shraddha, much more actually in Guru and Shastra. The moment we hear, I am Brahman, that sadhaka is not too far from abidance. He will have his own journey. He will have his own ups and downs. When I say he, it's he or she, he and she. Don't just take one. But the beauty is, he knows that my goal is true and I am on the right path. That is the glory of Shraddha. Last Sadhana Chatushtaya is Samadhanam. Not Sadhana Chatushtaya. Shamadhi Shat Sampatti is Samadhanam. Samadhanam means ability to constantly stay aware of our goal. What is our goal when it comes to Advaita Vedanta? Abiding in the self. Moksha also is a broad term. Within moksha, what are we seeking? Freedom from identification with conditionings and abidance in the self. Now this goal we remember very clearly when we are in satsang. Something is there with the air of satsang, you know. Everything tells you, I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. But the moment other Maya comes around, if Samadhanam is not there, mind can get carried away. There is one famous Subhashita, famous shloka actually, which says, Dadyana vasaram kinchit kamadina managapi. Don't give an opportunity for negative vices like desire, anger, greed to overpower the mind. Asupter amruter kalam nayet vedanta chintaya. Until you go to sleep and until this body drops, may our mind think of Vedanta. The one who does that has this quality of Samadhanam. Okay, Shama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. Now the last one is Mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam means desire to be free. Free from what? Free from ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of the self. An ignorant person, see, ignorance is not worldly ignorance. He is not an illiterate person. He might be highly qualified. But if somebody asks him, who are you? If his eye lands on body, that is ignorance. If his eye lands on abilities of the mind and intellect, that is ignorance. If his eye lands on Brahman, that is knowledge. That's why Shankaracharya, when he asks Hastamalakacharya, who are you? He doesn't say, I am son of so and so. I have done these many degrees. All of that are titles of body and mind. He says, I am that Nijabodha Swarupa. Hastamalakacharya, he says, I am that self-evident consciousness which is ever shining. Sanityopalabdhi Swarupoham Atma. I am that self which is ever present. That kind of abidance is called moksha. See, moksha is made from the root word much. Much means to let go. Moksha is not to gain something new. One person, he was telling one Mahatma ji, हमें मोक्ष नहीं चाहिए. That Mahatma ji said, आपको दे कौन रहा है? क्योंकि मोक्ष का अर्थ होता है छोड़ देना. क्या क्या छोड़ना? बाहरी चीजें, फिर ये उपाधियां, शरीर, मन आदि. That is mumukshutvam. Before we study Vedanta, there is one level of mumukshutvam. What is that? Person gets sufficient maturity कि दुनिया नहीं चाहिए. दुनिया नहीं चाहिए means I don't want a worldly life. That is also one level of mumukshutvam. But after studying Vedanta, he has clarity what I want. Because he has been told this is the nature of Brahman. This is who you truly are. Now seek it. That is the second mumukshutvam. And within this there is gradation. Somebody is a manda mumukshu, madhya mumukshu, tivra mumukshu. If somebody says, देखेंगे भगवान की कृपा होगी तो मोक्ष हो जाएगा, मंदा. Second person does Shravanam, listens everything, but doesn't put any effort. Madhyama. Third person studies and puts effort. And he says, which life do you want to be liberated in? He says, here and now, this life alone. Okay, so all these are different aspects of Sadhana Chatushtaya. On Mumukshutvam, there is a beautiful composition by Samartha Ramdas ji. It's called Karunashtaka. Around 35 verses he has written. The day he left his home, what all things were in his mind, he has composed a text on that. Before he had darshan of Bhagwan, before he did all of the austerities. If you want to understand what is mumukshata, you should read that. You want the flavor of it? I'll just read one verse. Anudina anutape tapalo ramaraya paramadina dayala nirasi mohamaya achapal mana माझे नावरे आवर्ता तुझा विनशिण होते धावरे धाव आता जय जय रघुवीर समर्थ. He says, day by day, O Lord Rama, I am scorched by problems. You are the one who is most compassionate. Please remove this delusion and maya. He doesn't say remove my problem. He says remove this ignorance because of which all problems are there. Remove this jivatva. May this restless mind which refuses to be restrained, may this mind find you. Because without you, he says, I am exhausted. I have tried everything, but nothing is giving me permanent solution. Don't come walking. Dhavare dhava ata. Please come running. Like this, he has written different verses on that. Now, we discussed about Sadhana Chatushtaya. Last point we will leave with. How does a Sadhana Chatushtaya come? We know what it is. How will it come? I feel the simplest way is ask from God. See, there is one Upanishad, the Shanti Mantra, which says, whatever qualities are needed for a student of Upanishad, Bhagwan, I know they are already there in you. May those qualities give me a little bit. Tadatmani nirateya upanishatsu dharmaha te mayi santu te mayi santu. Dharmaha means student of Upanishad. Whatever qualifications are there, they're all there in you in abundance. And you don't need them because you're already liberated. Just sprinkle a little bit, so I also get thoda sa. Shankaracharya in Viveka Chudamani says, if Guru's blessing is there, all Sadhana Chatushtaya can get multiplied. Prasadena Guroseyam, he says. Even if liberation, mumukshutta is weak, vairagya is weak, but if Guru's blessing is there, means what? Surrender of the disciple towards the Guru is there, which brings the blessings. That increases his Sadhana Chatushtaya. Do we have to do something or not? Shankaracharya says, we do have to do something. What is it? Swavarna shramadharmena tapasa haritoshanat sadhanam prabhave pumsam vairagyadi chatushtayam. He says we have to keep doing our own duty. Wherever the Lord has placed us, that is our varnashrama dharma. Selflessly. And also we have to worship God. Tapasa haritoshanat. Haritoshanat means upasana. Modern terms it is puja, japa, chanting, parayana. All of that will bring Sadhana Chatushtaya. It will invoke Bhagwan's grace to bring us Sadhana Chatushtaya. Okay? With that we'll conclude. We saw a bird's eye view of this topic. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.